Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss the file position control method in data file handling. So let's start with it. There are two file position control methods. One is tell method and second is seek method. What my tell method says? My tell method says that I will tell that where is the cursor in the file right now, and will return you this in terms of number of bytes. So what is the syntax for writing this? File object dot tell method. And method we write always along with round brackets. Whereas my seek method says that I will help you to place the cursor in the file wherever you want. And how can we do it? This is the syntax. File object dot seek. And as you can see that in my round brackets, there are two parameters. First is offset and second is when. Let's understand what are these two parameters. So there is the first parameter offset and second parameter is when. What my first parameter says? It says that tell me the position from where the object starts reading or writing. So we pass a value in terms of number of bytes in place of offset. So after those number of bytes, we will start reading from the file or we shall start writing in the file. Second parameter is when. When has three values, 0, 1 and 2. 0 is by default value. That means if I write 0, then also it indicates that my cursor is at the beginning of the file. And if I will not write 0, that means if I don't pass my second parameter as 0 in my seek method, then also by default the cursor is at the very beginning in my file. And this is the reason that we call it an absolute referencing. There are two more values, that is 1 and 2. These two values are relative referencing. What is my relative referencing? That means my one value will take you to the current position in the file and two value will take you to the end of the file. So these two values are not indicating the absolute referencing in the file. This is a random selection. And generally we work upon our absolute referencing in our file. So let's move on. Tell function. How do I use my tell method in my programming? So as you can see the coding, I have opened my pom.txt in my reading mode and my data variable is reading the whole file one at a time. There is, in my third line, there is a variable size which is holding the position of my cursor. And how is it holding the position of my cursor? In number of bytes. And finally, we are printing its size. So let's have a look. How does my output looks like? Size of the file is 113. Because my tell function tells you, returns you the output in number of bytes. So what does it mean? 113 is number of bytes stored in my file. Whereas, how does my seek function work? Again, we are opening a file into our read mode and we have passed two values inside our seek method, f.seek 5, 0. 5 is my offset value. That means after 5 characters from the starting, because as you can see, when's value is 0. So from the starting 5 characters, after 5 characters, it will start reading the file. Data is equal to f.read line. And finally, we are printing the data. And how does it look like? See. After 5 characters from the starting, it has started reading the file. And because we are reading only one line, so it has displayed only one line. But after 5th character from the starting. So let's have a look onto the coding part. See, this is my poem.txt. I have written the coding to open my file. Then this is my output window, and this is my notepad file which is permanently created in my operating system. So my file is containing 4 number of lines, and let's start working upon that how does my tell and seek function work. After this, if I'll write size is equal to f dot tell, and finally I'm printing it in this way. So how does it work? Let's execute it. It has displayed my data which is stored in my file along with number of bytes. So 113 is showing that the cursor is at the end of the file, and till there 113 bytes are written. Now let's move back onto the coding part. Here we are going to learn that how to use seek method. So there is a difference between using tell method and seek method. In my tell method, first I read the data, and after that I print that how many number of bytes we have read till here. But in seek method, first we place the cursor at the position from where I want to read my file. So how does it work? F dot seek. As we know that we have to pass any two values. First is my offset and second is my length. So I'm passing 5 and 0. That means after 5th character, the file will be read and will be displayed. So after passing my seek method, I'm writing this data is equal to f dot read. Let me remove this part, and then I'm not going to print any size over there. So I'm only going to print my data. How does it work? Let's see. As you can see that my file is this. It's starting with twinkle word. But as you can see that only LE from my first word is displayed over there. So first 5 characters are stopping at K. So after K, the file has started reading itself, right? So in this way, my seek method works. Now, what do I want? I want to read the data from the second line. I have told you that from the first line, if I want to read the data after 5th character, then how does it work? But now I'm going to tell you that if I want to read the data from my second line of the file, then how does it work? First of all, I will tell the position to my using my tell method, that f dot tell. But before that, I need to read the first line, f dot read line. I have read my first line of the poem. After that, I have told that at what location is it, right? Size is containing the number of bytes at the end of the line. Now, in place of this file, I'm going to pass the size variable. And this size variable has become my offset. So after that, if I read my data, like data is equal to f dot read, then how does it work? It will display my data, and let's execute it. So as you can see that the first line is completely discarded, and we have started reading the data from the second line. So in this way, my seek method works. And everything is dependent upon the offset size which I'm passing inside my seek method. And we have learned that how to correlate tell and seek method together with each other. So we can pass our tell method as an offset inside our seek method. Now this is all about reading from the file. But I told you earlier that seek method place the cursor in the file from where you can start reading or writing the data. So till now we have discussed about how to read the data after placing a cursor in the file. Now I am going to tell you that how to write the data after placing a cursor. For that, I need to open my file into read and write, both the modes. So R plus is the mode for the same. That means together I am opening my file into read and write. I can read also, I can write also. After this, now let's not change anything over here, but let's change this. After seeking the position, where is my cursor right now? My cursor is at the end of my first line in the file, right? So after this, I want to start writing twinkle, right? So how does it work? After writing, I must close my file. Then I'm again opening my file with the same method. My file name is form.txt, comma. Now this time I'm going to open my file only in the read mode. And as usual, I read my data. In the same way, I will read it and I will print it. So it will exactly show you that how my data looks like after changes, because I have added the word twinkle. And if you remember how my write function works, it overwrites the data because I have opened my file into write mode, not in append mode. Let's run it. So what is happening? Are you able to see the second line? Twinkle word has overwritten these letters in the second line because my cursor was placed in the at the end of the first line. So after the end of first line, my second line starts, and my second line has been overwritten with this word, which I wrote after placing my cursor in the file. So in this way, we can read and write the data with the help of placing a cursor inside my file. Let's move on. Next, we are going to learn about OS module. OS stands for operating system. About this, we have discussed in our previous session also, that how does it work. By importing OS module, we can avail all the services of OS module. Today we are going to talk about getCWD method and ABS path method. So getCWD method is, this method displays the current working directory of Python. CWD stands for current working directory. That means where exactly my .py file stores. That is known as my working directory. So how do we get to know about it? Here is the program. Before importing or availing the services of OS module, we must import it. So my first statement is import OS. My second statement is I have passed one variable named dir, which is holding the name, the path of my current working directory. And what is the way of calling it? os.getCWD method. GetCWD method is an inbuilt functionality. And finally, I am printing my dir variable. And this is my output. Python 3832 is my folder in which my all the py files are stored. And this is the complete path to reach there. Next, we are going to talk about absolute path. But before talking about absolute path, we must know that there are two types of path on which we are working. First is relative and second is absolute. What is my relative? Relative path is the name of file which we generally use while opening a file into reading or writing mode. But in place of that, we can use our absolute path also. That means the complete path of my current working directly I can use over there along with having my file name. So absolute path displays the complete path of the data file. How does it work? first we need to import OS module, and then under my OS module there is a module by the name path, and under this path module we have ABS path module again, in which we have to pass our file name as a parameter. So this is the complete way of writing the statement os.path.absolute path and then file name. And how will I get the output? In this way. This is the complete path of my file. But if I only pass my file name in my open method, then it becomes my relative path. Now let's move on that how to rename a file. Now children, as you know that whatever the file we create, whether it is .py file or .txt or .dat, all the files are stored in our own operating system. So importing OS module is necessary if I am working upon any file. So we are going to learn that how to rename a file. Sometimes it happens that in a hurry we name a file in a very weird way. But later on we realize that yes, for the future references, if I want to learn, then I must name it properly. So let's have a look over here. Import OS. This is my first sentence. So that I am availing the services of my OS module. Then I am using one module, sub-module over here by the name rename. Rename is a sub-module here in operating system module. And there are two parameters as you can see. First parameter is pom.txt, which is my current file on which I have worked upon, and comma new pom.txt. This is my second parameter and it is showing the new file name by which name I want to rename pom.txt. So after passing this statement, once I will run my program, so what will happen? This pom.txt will be renamed as new pom.txt. And after that we can open and we can read the data from there. And in this way it will appear into your operating system. This is my notepad file. Now as you can see over there, this new pom.txt is written in the title bar of my notepad file in place of pom.txt. So I can show you this practically as well. Let's remove it from there and import OS operating system. Now I am writing os dot rename. My file name is pom.txt on which I am working, and the new file new name I want to assign to my file is new pom.txt. Right? Then how does it work? Let's open and see. So new pom.txt, comma, I'm going to open it into a read mode. Data is equal to, once a while, let's read the data and then finally print it and close the file, which is the most important step. So F5, what is happening? The data is displayed, which is stored in my new pom.txt. Now one more variation I want to show you, that as of now I have renamed my file with the new name new pom.txt. Now let's check whether this pom.txt still exists in my operating system or not. Let's run it, F5, and you have got a big error that pom.txt, there is no such file or directory found, because this file has been renamed with the new name new pom.txt. And I can show you as well. Alt F, open. If I'll open pom.txt, as you can see that there is no name by this. But if I'll type new pom.txt, then the file appears automatically, and after pressing enter, I'll be able to see my file. The data is written over there. So I hope the concept is clear. Let's move on. Then how to delete a file? Like sometimes it happens that we create some files which are not in use, unnecessary files. So if I do not want to burden my operating system to manage all the files together over there, so I can remove them from my operating system. So what is the way? Let's say that test1.txt file is there already in my operating system, which I want to delete, which I want to remove. Basically, delete is not a function, remove is a function name available in OS module. So this is my program for removing this. So first I'm importing my OS module. After that, I'm using my remove module, submodule of OS. And then I have passed the file name which I finally want to remove from my operating system. So after removing it, if I check whether it exists or not, then I can start opening the file and I can read the data. But if the file is deleted, then it will show you one error message that file does not exist. So I can show you one example that we can try it with pom copy.txt, right? So let's have a look that whether the file exists or not. As we can see that there are 3 lines written in my file. So yes, now we can remove it. In place of this, I'm writing these lines. And in place of this rename, I'm going to write remove module. And inside my remove module, I'm going to pass the name of my file which I want to remove finally. So after this, if I'll check that whether the file exists or not, then it will show me one error that file does not exist. Let's have a look. After this, nothing will be printed because I have not given any print statement. But yes, if I'll open the file, home copy.txt, right? Let's have a look quickly. Open, sorry, f dot read, and then print data, and then finally close it. Yeah, then run it. You can get one error that the system cannot find the file specified by the name home copy.txt because earlier already we have removed it from the operating system. So once the file is removed from my operating system, it cannot appear again. That means it is permanently deleted from my operating system. So children, we have discussed today about OS module. We have discussed about our file position cursor methods, right? That is tell and seek. And I have told you the difference between both the methods and the correlation between both the methods. So I hope that the concepts are clear to you. So keep on practicing. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.